Hey, how's it going? My name is jackiefishhh and welcome back to some more Total War Rise of Mordor. Today we have an epic 2 vs 2 15,000 man engagement as the forces of the Last Alliance come together to put down the crazy Denethor who has been corrupted by Sauron and now looks to take Gondor down a dark and unforgiving path. So welcome back, guys. I hope you guys are really pumped for this replay, because let me tell you, this replay is probably one of the best replays I have received on the channel. It is so goddamn epic. The scale of it, the size, the scale and size are the same, but just the entirety of the battle. There's so many awesome maneuvers and tactics that come from these players playing right to the edge of the red on the campaign map. And I love the scenario they came up with. And I have also recorded this battle 3 times now, and each time there's been something wrong with my recording software. So if I'm recording it 3 times and then still really pumped about seeing it again, you guys must know that is going to be goddamn awesome. And let's hope this one works, eh? So we do have one of the newer factions that was added into Rise of Mordor submod, which is the Last Alliance. This is a mix of new Gondorian, like kind of men units and also elven units, obviously being called the Last Alliance. And I feel like Bloody Magpie has outdone himself today, as we'll slow this down as we don't want to miss any of the action. I feel like Bloody Magpie has outdone himself. These units look really awesome and unique and not really like anything else we've seen before. So on the front line, we do have some of these archers. These guys, again, I really dig the way that they have kind of like these leather Dunedain-esque shoulder pads without like any kind of like chest armor. I think they look really, really cool. Then for their heavy infantry, again, we actually do have some chest armor. Again, we do have these swordsmen right here, and they just look so good. I feel like he's really made this faction look so goddamn nice. Considering he's used all the assets that are basically in Rise of Mordor, he's just gone ahead and created some really unique looking units that don't just look like a copy and paste. Then we do have some Dunedain men-at-arms back here. These guys are going to be the heavy, hard-hitting infantry for the Last Alliance. Then as we continue to make our way down the flank, we do actually have some elves making their appearance. We have some of these javelin men, which is surprising to see some elven javelins. Don't really get to see them too often. We also have some of the human spearmen right here, an elven general unit. So I guess we have Elrond leading this assault against Denethor and his crazy Gondorian empire. He's been corrupted by Sauron, and now he is looking to take over and establish his hold over the Gondorian lands. However, the Last Alliance will not sit idly by. We do have some more Dunedain men-at-arms over here, and then we also have this unit of Dunedain protectors. These guys looking dope as hell. Huge broadswords. Can't wait to see them get stuck in. And then we also have these Dunedain sergeants, and I think they look really cool for a kind of like a different cavalry unit. They look kind of Gondorian, but they're very different to the Gondorian cavalry, and we'll see what they look like in a second, as they obviously are on the other side. I love the kind of a horse armor as well. It's just really unique and different. He's done an outstanding job. Then as you go over to Dol Amroth, who have kind of, I guess, not supported the Gondorian steward any longer, and Dol Amroth have teamed up with Elrond and his Last Alliance to push them back. So on their front line, they do have some of these heavy footmen. This is kind of like the medium infantry for Dol Amroth. They're not really the strongest in the world, but they'll get the job done for sure. We also have some of these Azure Guard. These guys are really good archers, and I believe the rest of the Dol Amroth archer line is just kind of more of these weaker arch units right here. But again, I like their look, that's for sure. Then we have finally the weaker units of the Dol Amroth infantry, and look at their swords as well. All of their swords have like a swan handle right there. Really awesome. And we get to kind of the strongest part of the Dol Amroth army, and it's going to be these Royal Swan retainers. These guys, there's not many of them in a unit, only 30 of them, but my god, will they pack a punch if they can get a charge in. Even on the front lines, which we'll get onto in a moment, why that's going to be so important. They do a lot of damage. More Dol Amroth cavalry going around these battle lines are right there. And then finally we have the Black Swan Vanguard, who are like a halberd kind of two-hand sword infantry war axe type unit right here. Very deadly. Then if we take a look at their opponents, we do have the Easterlings, who are marching towards victory. At least that's what they hope. Sauron has sent an army of Eastlings to try and consolidate his power in Gondor and put down these rebel factions. So he sent a small force before the rest of the Orc army does turn up. So they have a whole mix of these really cool spear bowmen. They also have, I think, which was one of the best parts of the Eastling roster, these horses right here. They just look really nice Easterlings. Unfortunately, there's no Mumakil turning up, but still, they look very, very nice. Then we also have some of the more traditional Eastling infantry right here, which you guys have seen obviously plenty of times before, and then some more like axe bow infantry right there, actually hiding in the long grass as well. Come on guys, get down. Then as we make our way over to Gondor, you guys have seen Gondor plenty of times beforehand. We have the Gondorian sword infantry right here, obviously very, very iconic, and they've absolutely nailed that. And then we have some Gondor bow militia, so they've gone for a weaker missile contingent, so they can spend more money on their heavy infantry, which is not a bad idea. And then finally on this far left flank, we have some more Gondor militia, so pretty weakly armoured infantry, and they're basically just going to be here to support their heavy contingent of cavalry. That is Gondorian sword cavalry with golden upgrades. And then we also have some Amroth Knights of the Silver Swan right here, who have, I guess, betrayed the rest of the Principality of Amroth and come over to support the corrupt Gondorian Empire that is reigning over the realm of Gondor. So we'll go ahead and click on play now and let this battle really kick off. One of the things I want to talk about though before this battle does get into its full flow is the fact that these guys always tend to use the entirety of the map. They go from red line to red line, so this basically makes it so it's very hard for cavalry to optimally have their skirmishes on the flanks. Now in this battle you will see cavalry fighting one another on the flanks, however it's very, very different. In traditional Total War battles it ends up being like basically, you know, infantry in the center, spears on the flank supported by cavalry and archers behind the infantry. However, in a battle like this where infantry stretches the entire battle line, it creates a really nice dynamic where cavalry has to start looking for gaps in the actual battle lines, in the center of the battlefield, to go ahead and use their kind of shock damage optimally. Instead of trying to just kind of smash through the flanks, they have to look for, you know, spaces where they can get around the enemy formation, and that creates a really, really unique battlefield and unique engagement we don't really get to see too often, and it's something I really, really dig. Because in this mod, and I think in mods like 1212, which is also something that these guys tend to send me, you know, the cavalry is very, very good. It can hold its own against heavy infantry. Even in prolonged combats, it does pretty decently. So it's nice to see that kind of coming in, where cavalry does sometimes charge the central flanks and does sometimes get itself stuck in, not always on the flanks. However, we are going to be getting a huge cavalry engagement kicking this off as the Amroth Swan Knights fly into the last Alliance cavalry, and we're going to be getting one hell of an engagement. This kind of style of battlefield as well does also lend itself to another strategy, which I'll talk about when the battle lines have kind of clashed a little bit more. But this is going to be a very important battle right now, and as you can see, both sides are committing infantry to these side flanks right now, looking to, you know, see who can get the upper hand and take the advantage, whilst the main battle lines are kind of just sitting forward as we speak. So over on the other side, we can see Arnor have pushed forward their infantry, and they're continuing to have this skirmish off. This cavalry, I mean, this infantry's probably been pushed up to protect their missiles a little bit, so they're not as vulnerable. And we also have some nice pushes. Oh, look at that. The Swan Knights just pushing their way forward on this left flank. So it looks like the forces are both trying to commit their infantry on either flank to go ahead and give themselves the upper hand. But for example, right here, you know, you can't get any cavalry through these gaps because, you know, there's spearmen right there, so you can't, the Amroth can't charge their cavalry forward. So they're going to have to look for other opportunities to use their cavalry effectively. We're going to get the last alliance as well, pushing up their infantry to guard up their missiles as the skirmisher fight does still continue. But over here, we're having a huge all-out brawl, and I love the way in this battle that we're getting like a huge engagement on either flank right now, but the center lines aren't wanting to commit yet. And I'll tell you why that is. The reason why the center lines aren't committing, I actually can probably show you better when this, I'll wait until this line commits, and then I'll be able to tell you guys better why the main lines aren't really looking to engage quite yet. They're kind of just sitting back, seeing how this battle on the flanks does really turn out. Now, Gondor do have the better cavalry force in this engagement right now. However, the last alliance have committed a large portion of their elite infantry to help out, whereas Gondor are kind of stuck with using some more of their weaker infantry. So it's whether or not the cavalry can kind of dominate the battlefield and then kill the infantry. And we're getting some more men pushed up here as well. The last alliance pushing forward some of their Dunedain men. And I think Gondor is just going to completely ignore it and push in. So as this line, yeah, okay, so this line has committed. And this will be a great example to why outflanking hasn't happened on this. It's the same for principle on the other side as well. So just imagine for a fact that this unit here was to commit itself to outflank this unit, then that would go ahead and leave themselves really vulnerable to not only a cavalry charge in the rear, but a unit of infantry coming around. And say, for example, this unit came in, then this would leave the battle line really, really dysfunctional and create gaps in the line. So the reason we're not seeing men being committed from these back lines right now to outflank is because it just leaves them really vulnerable. There's no kind of traditional way for these forces to outflank because of this red line right here. So because of that, they don't want to go ahead and try and surround a unit quite yet until these main battle lines have committed, because then you'll just see cavalry coming in and hitting them hard, and units taking advantage of the gaps appearing in the battle line. That's really where it is, but space is such a commodity, or such a scarce commodity, I should say. You really have to think about it. I mean, right here you can see the Gondorian cavalry is running forward, trying to go ahead and smash these elven archers, actually getting a rear charge off, then getting hit by the elven general. This gap was appeared because there wasn't anyone here to stop this, and you just think the exact same could happen over here. So you are seeing the elven skirmishers falling back. These skirmishers, if they set up correctly, could do one hell of a lot of damage right there. Also, one of the things I love about these replays is just the sheer scale of them. I mean, just look at that. Just look at that. In the distance, you see all these battles going on. And for example, another gap was appearing and this cavalry kind of charged in. And look at that damage. This unit was full strength, and just that frontal charge by golden upgraded Gondorian sword cavalry almost took them down to half health right away. Now that's goddamn impressive. These skirmishers are looking to form up right here. Band's power is very even still. Both sides, very, very even in their numbers, which is pretty impressive considering the Gondor has committed a large portion of their crappy units over here. So the fact that they're not dying quicker is pretty good for them in the corrupt forces. However, these Gondor Militia are just going to be completely broken. These javelins, though, doing some pretty goddamn nice damage. But oh, here we go. The Gondorian Knights of the Silver Swan Cavalry coming round. And I feel like the end is nigh for these javelins. They'll get a few more throws off, but here we go. And they just absolutely dominated them. I imagine the number, oh yeah, look at that number just go down. So many casualties. The forces of the last alliance are trying to go ahead and commit more infantry to tie down this general unit, but I think it's a little bit too late. And now this does create gaps that Gondor are going to be committing more infantry to try and stop that. And as I said, like, the battle lines are just not eager to commit. They want to see how this really turns out before throwing their men in. And again, if they were to commit too early, then whoever wins here could then easily outflank their opponent. Whereas if they sit back, they can reform their line and decide, what to do from there. So patience really is key as we have these two epic side encounters. And also the balance of power is really, really even right now. So no side really taking advantage. We can see the forces of Gondor are starting to dwindle a little bit. But I think that's just hugely down to their crappier units really dying. They've gone ahead and invested in a bunch of these weaker units so that their Gondorian sword infantry can do a lot more in the battle. So it's to kind of be expected that they're going to lose the kind of that side flank. But their cavalry has definitely done a lot of work. And they need it to, considering this golden chevron upgraded, they need it to be as strong as they can make it. The last alliance slashed the amroth cavalry right here, going in. Some support with archer fire as well. Now the Easterlings do kind of have a few times, like a few issues, honestly, in their entire combat. Like, they kind of struggle a little bit, but they are pretty decent. They're definitely much better in Bloody Magpie's sub-mod. It's just sometimes, there's not a lot of units for the Eastlings, so they kind of struggle. And this is what I'm talking about right now. Gaps have appeared as, you know, infantry lines start to clash and both sides, you know, want to get the charge off and stuff. So because of that, we're seeing cavalry come in through the gaps and start striking away at the weaker infantry. Right here, we saw the Royal Swan retainers moving in, and imagine these guys are just going to be so well off. What general went down? Over on this side, the Gondorian general has been slain. Oh, that is not going to be good for them. And I think that's going to be the end to this little excursion right here, because all the infantry from Gondor were basically Gondor Militia. And once that general goes down, their morale is just going to completely break and just dissipate. That's not going to be good for the Gondorians. They also just lost the skirmish off. However, they did exchange enough arrow fire with the last alliance that it's not going to be too huge. These elves and these men don't really have much ammunition left, so they'll have a couple more volleys, but not really be that influential. So they basically went toe-to-toe. And also, this arrow fire doesn't really do much damage because these Gondorians do have a pretty nice shield wall, so they're fairly well protected and don't really have to worry too much about missile fire. But you know, we can see the Easterling left or right, the Easterling right flank starting to cave in a bit. They do have a lot of these missiles back here as well of axemen. But all of these gaps starting to appear in the line is just going to provide them so much extra room for these cavalry charges, which we do see coming in. The Eastling cavalry, though, is holding its own. You would have thought that this cavalry would have died considering how surrounded it is, but it's doing decently. And also, if we take a look at here, we can see that the Gondorians are starting to curve in their battle line. And this might look a little bit, you know, not as good as it actually is. By curving their battle line, oh, look at that entire, they've actually met up with the Eastling line as well, that's awesome. By curving this battle line right here, they're making the exhausted Gondorians, you see how tired these guys are, go all the way around. And if they then want to go ahead and outflank the main battle line, which is really good because, you know, they've spent money upgrading them and stuff, it's going to take them a long time to do that. Like, this cavalry is pretty tired right now. It's going to take them a long time to get all the way around here and then rear charge this. If we just zoom in right here, we can see the last alliance just moving forward. I mean, oh my god, look at that. How awesome is that? The Gondorians, I think, are forming an aggressive formation. Yeah, the Gondorians are looking for blood right now. As they form up this formation and get ready to charge in, they're looking to break apart these shield walls as strong as they can. God damn, that's nice. Completely smashing into the last alliance battle line, doing plenty of damage. However, they are under fire by missiles, or if they could try and sneak this unit round or even just envelop that, that would be perfect for them as the flanks do form up. Now, they really need the Eastlings to go ham in this battle, but it's just a complete cluster, and I think the Amroth are coming out on top. They still have some archer fire coming in from this heavy infantry, this kind of like hybrid axe unit. Oh no, these are actually the archers. These are the hybrid axe units fighting away against the cavalry. And maybe if the Eastlings can clear out the cavalry, that's going to give them a bit of an advantage, as they still have their general unit back here, shooting away on his bow, doing some good damage. But I mean, you know, this is a little bit of a struggle, and as you can see, the Amroth general making his way forward, probably going to try and strike these archers if he can. Doesn't want to overcommit though, as more and more of the lines do come in to engage. This Amroth infantry is probably going to be holding its own quite nicely against the Easterlings. It's the more lightly armored ones which are going to be struggling. And this Eastling unit should be doing okay because this is a missile unit. It's heavily armored, but it is only a missile unit, so it shouldn't be doing too bad. But I mean, Amroth are doing a pretty nice job of clearing this up. How's the fight against the Gondorians going? I mean, Gondor are dominating this frontline fight right now. Oh my god, yeah, look at that. We'll slow the camera up just a little bit and go down the battle line. I mean, just take a look at the health bars on either side. That's pretty impressive. The Gondorians are just cutting down the last alliance infantry. However, we have seen a pretty big cavalry charge in here. Oh, and two huge Gondorian breaks going off right now. These units are not coming back, and it's going to open up for the Elven General to go ahead and wrap around. He honestly needs to make his way around, and the rest of the Gondorian cavalry is coming, but is it going to be too late? As you can see, the last alliance HP is going down very, very quickly. and also their morale as well is starting to falter on a few of these units. However, we can see that gaps are appearing that maybe they can break through. The amroth are completely smashing round that left flank for them and enveloping. But the thing is, because these factions are using the entire map, it's going to take them a while to then kind of reform up these forces and make their way over here. Now, they might not need to, as now that the Last Alliance cavalry is coming in. But even still, the Gondor sword infantry really held its own. It's not bad right there as the Dunedain sergeants fly themselves into the back of the Gondorians. And I think we might start to see a mass rout appearing. But I mean, hopefully you guys have seen how epic this battle has been. Like, there's very few battles we get like this, which use the entirety of the map, have interesting cavalry tactics. This is awesome. And I think overall, like, if we take like 10 replays I get sent, for example, 2 of them are normally kind of bad. You know, I'd probably say 5 of them are pretty decent. Then you get like 2 that are really good, and then you get that 1 replay that is just absolutely epic. And this definitely takes the biscuit right there, being the 1 out of 10. So guys, if you enjoy this, please make sure to drop a like and a comment down below. It lets not only me know that you want to see more battles like this, but it lets the guys who are sending in these replays know that you're enjoying them and you want to see more stuff like this. And I'm sure they'll be more than happy, because they always send me in these huge battles and I'd love to get more and more of them, because they always are. The scale of them is always just amazing. I mean, this is the 3rd time I'm recording this battle. Fingers crossed there's no issues. And, you know, I'm just as excited watching it as I am the first time. But when we take a look at the overall battlefield, we can see it looks like the Last Alliance have managed to claim victory. Oh, one of the generals has died. Oh, no, the Last Alliance Elven general has gone down. Is that Elrond? Elrond has been slain on the battlefield. Oh, no. That's not good. But it does look like, even with his death, it looks like the reign of Denethor, steward of Gondor, has been wiped out. And hopefully, they can put someone good on the throne. I mean, would Aragorn take control of Gondor after this battle, as you do have the last of Amroth coming around and cutting down the Gondorians? Yeah, would Aragorn take over the throne? I feel like at this point, maybe not. You know, is this before the Fellowship was even created? Maybe, you know, instead of Theoden, Denethor got corrupted? Because, I mean, you know, who's to say that couldn't happen? Now, would Boromir take over, or would Boromir be corrupted as well? As we can see, Boromir did get pretty corrupted by the ring in the movie, so who's to say? Who's to say? And, you know, if Boromir wasn't there, if Boromir was also killed in this battle and they set off, and Boromir suggested that they went through the Gap of Rohan, would they ever have gone to Moria instead? And if they never went to Moria, would Gandalf have ever died? And if Gandalf didn't die, then would he ever have come back as Gandalf the White and been immensely powerful? But, like, who knows? So many what ifs. What do you guys think would have happened? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know, as I said, if you enjoyed this battle. Let's just speed up the last couple seconds. It is a Pyrrhic victory for the Last Alliance. They did lose a lot of men. And I feel like overall, even though Sauron did lose an army of Easterlings, he still kind of came out on top, because he had these 2 factions killing each other. You know, Gondor and the Last Alliance and Dol Amroth both lost men, which they can't use to fight him. So I feel like Sauron is pretty happy right now. Taking a look at the kills, we'll start off by looking at Dol Amroth. We can see that their infantry really is the kind of the pinnacle of Dol Amroth. And even their cavalry, 170 kills, 17 kills is pretty nice. And also these Azure Guard as well, 190 on that one. Not bad whatsoever. Looking at the Last Alliance, yeah, the Dunedain Men-at-Arms, almost 300 kills. The Elven General, 180. And also the Dunedain Sergeants, almost 128 there. Not too bad. Taking a look at the corrupt and evil Gondor army, we can see that they have their infantry. Their infantry just went ham even when their general was killed as well. You know, 195 kills, 170, 144. That's not bad whatsoever. Then finally, looking at the Eastling Army, we can see that their infantry doing pretty decent. These Axe Guard right here, 140. And then their archers doing surprisingly well, along with their cavalry, 100 kills on this one. So if you guys enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and a comment, and I will see you guys in the next one.